because because so Srila Prabhupada writes, Jagannath, Jagat means Lord, Nath means universe, Lord of the universe, not just Lord of
Orissa.
Jagannath.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Orissa Nath.
but there's a kind of superiority that's linked to the idea of caste consciousness, like the whole of humanity is divided into. They also have, Srila Prabhupada writes, there are descendants supposedly from the family of Lord Nityananda coming down to the present day, and they preach that only they can be teachers, only they can be gurus, and well, they have Srila Prabhupada condemns the whole thing. I guess it's hard to believe, but we've been given such a pure understanding of Vaishnava philosophy according to the Vedic literature. That the Brahmins in Vrindavan tried to arrange for Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati to be killed.
Yes,
because
yes.
Because he was preaching, because they're caste conscious, and they have a prestigious position in the society, and they like it. And I don't know what they believe in their hearts, but they do not believe that people who are not born in the family of a Brahmin can be a Brahmin and things of nature. So, what can be done?
What can be done? I was always lucky to have association with Western devotees, and I never really took so much of the the baggage, like Narayan Prabhu, yourself, many senior people. So in that way, I understand, like the right message, or at least try to understand. But it's unfortunate that these devotees also did not have this type of association. They don't have any close association, meaning they have a guru, so-called guru, but besides that, they're on their own. So
Hare Krishna.
It's very unfortunate. Yeah, I mean, devotees like yourself and many senior devotees are still alive, so they should appreciate and hanker for this. But it's
in order to deal with that sort of thing, one would have to be very, very highly versed in our scriptures. Like someone like Srila Prabhupada, he can quote so many verses and destroy any argument. But a person like myself, I accept Srila Prabhupada's conclusions, and I haven't done that kind of work to study the scriptures to the degree that I can defeat anyone in a logical argument based on Shastric evidence. One would have to be very highly equipped to do that thing. I would like to, but
well, you're doing that to some degree here by when people ask questions, you give the Shastric example and answer and realization. So you are giving that. So, and your personal practice is giving that too. So I think you're all right.
I have certain themes that between you and me. Let's see. On my computer, I have a section that is Krishna consciousness. And in it, there are subjects in Krishna consciousness like 20, 30 different subjects. There's so many things that are just like the structure of the universe, or all the demigods, and the like how many earth years is one day of Lord Brahma, things of that nature.
Mhm.
Time and different subjects, so many different subjects. But I'm focusing mostly now, lately, last couple of years, I guess, on the idea of what is our relationship with Srila Prabhupada, with the pure devotee, with Krishna's representative, in order to make our way according to the science of Krishna consciousness. What is the scientific relationship? How do we go about it?
Hmm.
And actually, as you know, I've told you before, aside from yourself, people, they actually believe that by mechanical application of the instructions, the do's and don'ts, they believe gradually they will advance, they'll receive a blessing, and at that point they'll be able to have devotional feelings, as opposed to everything out of a sense of duty. This is the how do we express it in English? The consensus, the shared consensus of opinion amongst all my God brothers that I've spoken with. And they're very, very frightened of words like affection or love. And they can only equate the idea of love with prema bhakti or bhava prema. And so they have no idea of anything in between. You're either completely in Maya, in the illusory concept of life, or you're in Krishna prema. And there's nothing in between for them. Where my understanding is, in Krishna consciousness, the means and the goal are one and the same. And so I'm collecting the quotes, and I'm working harder at it, because now I'm having an opportunity to share these ideas, this understanding, and therefore, and you just cannot talk, because they will say that they become adamant. It must be Srila Prabhupada Bani. Bani mean the words. This is not Srila Prabhupada Bani, and etc. And they can become very upset. But it is in our books, but they have not understood our teachings and our books. So they've come up with different conclusions. And also, there was one quote I read the other day. Sometimes I don't get them all, because where Srila Prabhupada says that in our Western culture, people just their hearts are so rigidly closed. They don't understand what it is to live with feelings of affection in their hearts so very much. It's a great challenge. In other words, if people are not experiencing something in their everyday life, it's very hard to talk to them about it, because they either think you're pretending something, or it's not philosophically sound. But again and again and again, Srila Prabhupada says, I think it was that quote. Did you give me that quote about where Srila Prabhupada?
Yes.
We all have it. He says, it's right here. You have it. It's nothing you're going to be added to you. You already got it. You just don't know where to apply it.
Yes. He gives an example. We apply it to dogs, cats, wife,
Right.
this, that.
So those same feelings, can be directed towards our spiritual master. That doesn't mean we think of him as a dog or a cat. It means that, that we take that feelings of, so people don't know what love is. They think of love either as mundane infatuation, that people quote unquote fall in love, which is total illusion, total Maya, because I'm not this body, so I'm not man or woman. But this infatuation is completely, in the first place, on the material platform of the false sense of self and the false sense of other. That's number one. And number two, it's not unconditional. It's, I get married and in 6 months I have a divorce because I'm not getting what I want. It's not loving, it's wanting. And loving and wanting are, all that love is to take pleasure in the well-being and happiness of another with no sense of getting anything in return. And if it's applied towards an illusory conception, or, then it's an expansion or an extrapolation of our own false sense of self. Just like it makes me feel good that I'm giving food to the poor, for instance, or building a hospital that people can go to. But actually, those people, we're not helping them to get out of the cycle of birth and death. And it's because I think I'm this body, and I'm thinking I'm a good person. I'm feeling good about it. But Srila Prabhupada says it's like a man is drowning, and you go to save him, and you come back
Clothes
with his hat and coat, but you leave him still to drown. So that's what doing good work for the feeding the poor, giving them clothing, giving them a hospital, giving them a school, etc. It's not doing anything for anybody, and it's still not love. But when it's in relation to Krishna, all it means is, or God, it means taking pleasure in God's happiness, in Krishna's happiness, and Krishna's pleasure, and being happy that we can be part of that we can contribute to it, and not wanting anything in return. Otherwise, Srila Prabhupada says, it's business, that I'll worship God if I get what I want. And if I don't get what I want from him, I'll go somewhere else. So that's not love. So love is just taking pleasure in Krishna's pleasure, in Krishna's happiness. So people go to a football game, right?
Yes.
And they're fans. They have their team. So they think they consider the team to be part of their identity. I'm a such and such fan. And if their team scores a goal, the whole stadium stands up and cheers. And the cheerleaders stand up and dance and cheer. and no, they do. So this is the same sort of thing. They're taking it's an extended sense of self. My team, right? My team is winning.
Yeah.
It's an extent. So it's Maya. It's illusion. But the same thing. Say you read how Krishna jumps over the guards, and he gets up on the platform where Kamsa is sitting, and Kamsa takes out his sword, and he's swinging it to trying to kill Krishna on the platform in the arena, and Krishna grabs him and drags him off the platform into the center of the arena, and he straddles him, and he hits him with his fist, hand over hand over hand over hand, and then he, to make everybody know, including his parents, that not to worry about, but that Kamsa is now dead, he drags him across the ground. Now, why can't we cheer for Krishna hearing of such a thing, just as the people who are going to the football game are cheering for their team? Krishna is our leader, and we're on his team, or he's the team that we stand up for. Why can't we do the same thing? Well, that's affection. It's taking pleasure in Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's enjoying all these pastimes. So, anyone can do that. So when we read the book, the Krishna book, there's so much philosophy in the Krishna book. So people can be sort of on an intellectual or conceptual level, and they can take the pastime as information about God. Yeah. That's one level. But another level is to read and envision and say, well done, Haribo. Pastime after pastime after pastime, taking pleasure in Krishna's pleasure. That's love. That's all love is. It may not be highly advanced, but the thing is, the more one engages in Krishna consciousness in that way, the more the heart becomes purified, and the pleasure that one gets from misplaced affection, like a football game, it only gets so big. They don't have ecstasy or anything like that. They're not rolling around in their seats, so or shivering in their body. What am I trying to say? If that the amount of the pleasure that one gets from on the material platform is very limited, but when our affection is properly directed according to our teachings, Vaishnava teachings, according to Srila Prabhupada's teachings and instructions, it will continually expand. But it won't expand unless we start from our present position. That's all. But if you say, so you say, yes, we can love Krishna now. We can really enjoy hearing about him, how he does all these different things, how he came to this, how he took birth in the womb of Devaki, and how he arranged to get transferred to Vrindavan, and how he grows up in Vrindavan, and how he enjoys being the son of Mother Jasoda, and when she says, Balaram says, Krishna's been eating dirt, and Krishna says, no, I haven't been eating dirt. They're just mad at me because of the way we were playing this morning, and if you don't think so, you can check my mouth. And she opens Krishna's mouth, and she sees the whole universe, and she sees her with Krishna, and she sees everything, and she thinks, oh my God, am I losing my mind? And Krishna's doing this enjoying himself. And then he takes it. So we can not take it just as information. It's not just information.
That
Go ahead.
I was saying the conceptual understanding of Krishna consciousness and the feelings, there's two different things. So, most people have conceptual understandings of Krishna consciousness, but it's not backed up by any emotional or feelings. I think that's what you're trying to say.
So Srila Prabhupada says, and I copied a quote. Where is that? Is it here? No. No, that's another thing. What Srila Prabhupada says, blind following. Why does he condemn blind following? Blind following means, why does he use the word mental platform? You're on the mental platform.
Conceptual.
It's conceptual. He said, if you say, it's conceptual. So blind following means I haven't got that taste that it makes me feel so good to be having. We only have the taste, the pleasure or the bliss of Krishna consciousness in proportion to how much we focus our love towards our spiritual master and Krishna and Krishna devotees. So without coming to that stage of saying, wow, I love this. I want more of it. I don't want to stop this. I want to keep hearing of these pastimes. It's so nice. So then, without coming to that point, it's blind following. It's a nice philosophy. We accept it. It appeals to us aesthetically, intellectually, conceptually. It answers so many questions, but it does not giving me enough. Therefore, I'm going to have to look for my pleasure somewhere else. I have no choice. I have no choice. Not only do that, but but to the degree that we have this affection and feel this bliss, to that degree also our material attachments are removed from our heart. So the Krishna consciousness in that way protects us from Maya. But if we're not in having that bliss with the concomitant alleviation of material attachment, jnana and vairagya, knowledge and detachment are the byproducts of devotion. So without that vairagya, without that detachment, then we're harassed by the demands of our mind and senses to enjoy in other ways.
Yes.
So we have to come to this point. But it's so hard. You can't sell it. You can't give it away. You can't convince because
one has to taste it.
People
live it.
It's strange. That's why I'm collecting quotes, and organizing them into files. And I wanted to speak to you more about that. What are we going to read tonight?
Okay, let's go to that. 1 second. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anyways, I picked it up, so I thought we read it here. Srila Prabhupada talking about that exact thing we were discussing. I'd like to make a comment here. For the people who know Hindi, if you listen to it, Prabhupada makes very, strong point about this love, this exchange of love. So anyone who's a Hindi speaker, they should over and over hear this, because Prabhupada is making a very distinctive statement. So I'll read the English part here. Everyone has prema, love. This propensity to love others, that is, there is everywhere. But that prema, that love, is originally for Krishna, Nitya Siddha Krishna Bhakti. That is the original prema, but because we are illusioned, that prema is being applied or used for so many maya. Prema I've got my love, that is a fact, but I do not know where to repose that love. That is my misfortune. So I can read a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Therefore, Krishna says that Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sarnam Vraja. You have got Prem, you have to apply it to me, and then you'll be benefited. So you see here how Prabhupada is giving another Bhaktivedanta commentary on that verse. This is not in Prabhupada's book, meaning that in the Bhagavad Gita. You see how Prabhupada is using this? He's giving...
He says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Ma may come. Me only. You give your love to. You have got prema. You apply it to me. Then you'll be benefited. That's what prema is already there. You're simply misusing it. Therefore, you're not happy because you don't get the reciprocation. So you got a big bank balance, $10 billion in the bank. You can love it, but it doesn't love you back.
Yes.
So our destination of love should be Krishna.
Of course, that's it. That's the only. Yes.
Is there any question? I think you know our philosophy.
So yes. So
therefore you're not happy because nothing immaterial can give us that reciprocation that we're looking for at every moment in the wrong places. This is the process. Prema you have got, but you're misusing it. But if you take Krishna's word that give your prema to me, how? Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee, madhyaji, my worshiper, mang namaskaru, bow down to me. And this is the beginning of prema. Always think of me. I think of my son, I think of my child, I think of my wife, because there is prema, that loving propensity is there. So if you think of Krishna, then you will increase your prema for Krishna. See, that's what I was saying. It expands when it's put in the right place, your investment, it grows.
God.
This is the process. And so just saying, oh, yes, how many people in this room accept this Krishna philosophy? Everyone will raise their hand. But real acceptance is to understand and accept means to understand that now my loving propensity should be applied in this way, in this direction. So Srimad Prabhupada says, prema is not you have to get it outside. In other words, it's not going to be benedicted or you won't be blessed with it by doing your sadhana mechanically for 100 years. It's not going to happen that way. What will happen that way by doing your sadhana mechanically for 100 is that you'll become purified enough to understand that your love has to be directed towards Krishna. Then you will begin the real process, but you don't have to wait 100 years. You can do it today. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada says, it's simply a question of understanding and accepting. If you understand that your love is meant for Krishna and you really accept it, then what is the result? You can be, quote, you can be Krishna conscious in 1 second. It is simple for simple, unquote. So it's not that something causes something else. That's a way of linear thinking.
Mm-hmm.
If we do A, the result will be B. And if we do B, the result will be C. No, Krishna consciousness is not like that. Krishna consciousness is non-linear. It's in the present moment. Either we're on or we're off.
Mm.
And we can get on by being on in 1 second. So the Srila Prabhupada says, next paragraph, so if you think of Krishna, then you will increase your prema for Krishna.
Right.
This is the process. Prema is not, you have to get it outside. You don't get it from somewhere else. You already have it. It is already there. Just like a young boy, young girl, as soon as they meet, natural attraction, that is already there. It's not that he has to be brought, that he has brought this attraction from or purchased it from somewhere else. In other words, it's not that we'll be blessed with the ability to love.
It's already there. Yes.
No, it is already there. Simply by combination, it becomes aroused. That's all. Similarly, Krishna Prema is there. Nitya Siddha, that means eternally perfect. Krishna Bhakti, love for Krishna. So it is not that by artificial means we are getting this prema. It's already there. But just like the attraction for young man and young woman, it comes at a certain stage. Similarly, if you develop this hearing and chanting, Shravana Kirtana, that is Krishna Prema will be aroused. You see, automatically, it's already there. The thing is, we should do these processes with a heart, with love. It's just like if you go to the gambling. No, we won't go to the gambling. You want to start a business? You want to start a business, import, export, distribution of products, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that how do I make profit? How do I realize a profit, right? How do I realize a profit? But to realize a profit, you need some startup capital. To make money, you need to have money first. Similarly, to get Krishna Bhakti, you have to have some Krishna Bhakti. You need to have some love first, then more will be added to you. It will expand. Not that by doing as a duty, day in and day after day, waiting for that it should come from somewhere else and be put onto my head. No, it is growing the bhakti capacity that we have in our conditioned state. Taking that, we can grow it. Because Krishna says, as they approach me, I reciprocate. Krishna has already said, give me your love. So if we give him our love, then he reciprocates, and that feeling, that is our realization. So our realization, we want to realize a profit. We want to have that profit with some realization, but the realization is proportionate to how much we give him our love. Bhaktya mama bijanati, I cannot be known or understood except if you give me your love. And that reciprocation, this is nice loving this. It's nicer than loving my $1 billion. It's nicer than loving my tongue. It's nicer than loving my
You become
genital.
satisfied.
Satisfied increases more and more the more we use it.
How do
Mm.
you
So,
how do you distinguish duty from love?
how do you distinguish duty from love? When I go to town and it says drive on the right side of the street, and I drive and I don't drive on the left side, that is duty. That is obedience. That is duty and obedience. But there's no love there.
Mm.
But love is something. If you love, if you love somebody, you're immediately obedient. But
Mm.
you do it out of love, not because you have to, because the policeman is going to give you a ticket. Not out of fear, not out of duty. People out of duty, they go to war. The country says, now you put on this uniform, go and kill somebody. And they're doing out of duty, but there's no love.
Mm.
So there I have, and do you have that other quote, Prabhu, where Srila Prabhupada talks about love? And he says,
Infection?
not be, oh, I have this duty, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And he says, no, do it with feelings of love. Do you have that?
No, I don't, but I can look it up. 1 second. Let me look it up.
Where will you look? So duty and love. Yeah, we do things out of duty because it's our duty. We have a relationship. We have to function within our society, within our family, within our everything. But Srila Prabhupada doesn't. But bhakti yoga is not duty yoga, it's bhakti yoga.
Let's see
It's
here.
the process, it's loving.
So the quote is doing with love. Oh, what is the punchline?
Okay. I'll find it if you give me 1 second, okay?
Sure. Yes.
Bring something up.
Sure.
Can I read this?
Sure, Prabhu. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is a lecture. I'll give it to you. Lecture, Srimad Bhagavatam. First canto, 10th chapter, text number 2. Lecture, June 17, 1973. Can you
Okay.
find that?
June 17th.
June
Yeah, 1 second.
1973, Srimad Bhagavatam 1,
1973. Okay. Srimad-
110.2.
Okay, let's see. Srimad Bhagavatam lectures on 110.2. Okay. 110.2. Okay, 110.2. This is in June. Okay, June 17th, right? Ishan Prabhu said?
Yeah.
Okay, I have it here. Let me share it on the screen. Again.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go.
These are the kind of things I'm collecting. So, I got it there. So let's see. Can you start scanning, and I'll try and see where he begins to talk like this.
What does he use? Let me search love. How many times?
Tesham satata yuktanam.
Yes, Priti Purvakam, with love. Not okay. Here
Okay.
we,
Okay, go a little higher, just a few lines, so we'll start in the right place. Okay. Oh, if we cooperate, okay. Okay. Tesham satata yuk. Now, Srila Prabhupada is going to distinguish between duty and love in this quote, okay? Are you there, Robert?
He's here. Yes.
Okay. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. So what's it? that Krishna is saying, if satata means always, yukta, engaged, bhajatam, and with love, priti, with love, for me, then I'll give you the knowledge, the understanding by which you can come to me. Bhagavad Gita 10:10. If you are engaged satatam, 24 hours without any other engagement, sarva dharman parityaga, you give up everything, in other words, parityaga, give up these other ideas of duty, and giving up all other nonsense business, sarva dharman. Simply, if you are engaged in Krishna's business, priti purvakam, with love, not in a hackneyed way. Oh, here is the duty, chanting Hare Krishna. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Ram. Prabhupada chants very quickly and indistinctly. I have this lecture on my MP3 player. Not like that, with priti, with love. Chant every name, Hare Krishna. And here is Krishna, meaning in that sound vibration. Here is Radharani. That kind of chanting, quality, not like that, not like that. Priti, tesham satata yuktanam, that meaning always, bhajatam priti purvakam, always with love. If you do, that priti is required. That is the essential quality. Not that you're doing or following instruction. No, that is the essential quality, and you're doing it like that with loving feeling. Patram pushpam phalam toyam, that Krishna says, if you offer me a leaf of flower or a little water, but how? Real thing is bhakti. Krishna is not hungry that you will give him some good food and he will eat. Never mind in which you can give, never. And Srila Prabhupada says, we're thinking, oh, here's puri, halava, Krishna must eat. Srila Prabhupada says, no, Krishna is not hungry for your puri, your halava. But if there is bhakti, if there is love, then he eats. Tadaham ashnami. Then I eat if there is bhakti, if there is love. Krishna, now Srila Prabhupada says, describes what is our proper attitude. Oh Krishna, what can I do for you? I'm so teeny and you're so great. Still, I have tried to do something. Please, if you kindly eat. This is the mantra, real mantra. Not that so many formalities of mantra, like they do in the temple, the pujari has to do like this and like that. It's all a big thing. And you have to know how to do. No, this is the mantra. Krishna, if you'll kindly eat. Real mantra is not so many formalities. Krishna does not say, oh, quote, one who offers me with the Vedic mantras. Never says like that. Krishna says, bhaktya, with devotion. So others may criticize you. Now this is a new subject. So, but there, in higher up, you'll see that, oh, I have this duty. Oh, here is this duty. Chanting Hare Krishna. All right. Not like that. With priti, with love. Chant every name. Understand that Krishna is there in that sound, and you embrace that sound to your heart. So
Joy.
that, Robert, is the difference that Srila Prabhupada has explained, the difference between duty and love. It's
Joy.
different. So if we only can do duty, if we can only be obedient, and this love is a new ball game for us. So doing out of duty for as long as it takes, the only benefit of that all duty, if it brings us to the point of purification, of understanding that Krishna consciousness means that my love is required. That duty will be effective in that way if one is trying to understand, willing to understand. But but it is not by duty that we get reciprocation of love. We get reciprocation of love when we love. Because it says, as you approach me, I reciprocate. So this is very important. And you won't hear this anywhere else.
Well, I
because
certainly haven't heard it. I've been to many classes.
You will not hear it because they don't understand our philosophy. There are no senior devotees. They're all neophytes. We are all neophytes. But in our neophyte condition, we can start to Srila Prabhupada said, transfer the account. Instead of loving my cat or my dog or whatever, or my bank balance or whatever, we take this affection that we're capable of and we direct it towards our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada.
Joy.
And Krishna.
And
in that, yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I was thinking that, sometimes I think of someone, and by thinking of that person, certain feelings arise, either good, bad, loving, or some past memory. So if we are Krishna conscious, these feelings of, oh, look at Krishna's wonderful pastimes. He's so merciful. He's so loving. So these should evoke emotions, at least, some, like, for example, I think of my son, it invokes some certain emotions, like, oh, he's a naughty guy, it's, he's asking something. So it's
How old
similar.
is he? How old is your son?
My son is 4 years old. It's going to be
4
5
years.
soon. Yes. So
you can pick him up and hold him to your chest.
Yes.
And you squeeze him. You squeeze him and he can feel your love, right?
Yes.
So we have the ability to feel loving. Now we should take Srila Prabhupada's feet and do the same thing to our heart and squeeze them with that same feeling of love. Then we're on the right track. And we can do that. Not that you have to be advanced, you have to be senior. There's no question of senior. It's simply a question of understanding and accepting where our love is really supposed to be given. And this is the process of Krishna consciousness. So simple. So simple.
Joy. Rupa, any questions, comments? What do you think?
I think it's wonderful to listen to Prabhu speaking.
Are you going to sign up a contract? We have put a contract before you.
Well,
sign up.
I have to admit, when I chant my rounds, I do it mechanically. So I'm thinking about that and how to really be loving instead of just like, oh, I got this many rounds left to go. Oh, I've got this many rounds left to go.
Okay. Can I share something with you, Prabhu?
Yes.
Mataji, you're my mother. I have to because Srila Prabhupada wanted like that. So, okay. I have a beautiful big picture that I had blown up of Srila Prabhupada, and he's smiling so beautifully. And in the picture, it's like he's looking right at you. Okay, so here's what I do. I've been doing this for a few years. I have a list of all the different ways that I can cultivate love when I'm chanting japa. But the first thing I learned to do is this, and anyone can do this. All right. You sit in front of the Srila Prabhupada. He says he's present in this picture. And so we accept that. And we know he's really there. So we sit in front of Srila Prabhupada. You know how you make a garland of flowers and you put it on Srila Prabhupada? So that I don't have a garland. I garland Srila Prabhupada with the sound vibration of the holy name. I garland Srila Prabhupada. I surround him with that sound vibration. And I do this every day. And if I'm not perfectly there, now try and remember what Ramchandra Prabhu has just said. We can think of somebody like my son or my wife or my husband or my dog or my cat, and in my heart a feeling of love comes up. If I can hold that loving feeling within myself and forget about my dog and my cat and my wife and son, but just have that physical feeling of joyfulness in the heart and approach Srila Prabhupada with that feeling, and at the same time chant for his pleasure. I guarantee you, I put my life on the line, that as you're sincere and do this every day, you'll start sooner or later. It might be sooner, it might be later. You'll see that Srila Prabhupada smiling at you, and he's enjoying that you're giving this love to him, that you're giving this mantra to him, that he loves the mantra. Now, when he does that, you'll feel a pleasure that surpasses anything you've ever had in your life. You won't fall down necessarily or roll on the ground in ecstasy. You won't have goosebumps all over your body. You may not have tears in your eyes right away, but you'll say, wow, his love is so sweet. He's so blissful, and he's sharing that with me. And I want more of this. So I'm going to chant like this every day. Every time I have my japa period, and I tell you, this is the way I chant japa. I chant like this every day. And you know what has happened as a result? Are you still there, Ramchandra Prabhu? You disappear. What happens as a result is now when I go out on the land and I'm working with a rake or a pick or a shovel and I chant the holy name, I can feel Srila Prabhupada's presence, and I'm chanting for him. And he's sharing his love with me. And so I'm learning how to carry that but we have to start somewhere. So then we don't want to walk alone anymore. We want to always be in the association of Krishna's pure devotee. We want to associate with the pure devotee. So we're going to read this in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the 1.5.25, which is coming up. It says that he's going to share his devotional feelings with you. He's going to share his heart with you as you share your heart with him. He says, pure devotion is as much infectious in a good sense, like an infectious disease. And that infection means that you get from him the taste of what it feels like to be a devotee. He shares that with you. That's why we associate with pure devotee. Then, next step is that, so he's teaching us, look, he's teaching us, he's sharing his enthusiasm, his joy, his bliss in hearing the holy name. He's sharing himself with us. And it's like we get a contact high. You start to feel it. You start to feel his feeling in yourself, and you start to chant with that same feeling. Now you're practicing Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a pure devotee.
Jai.
Have you ever read that? To practice Krishna consciousness under the guidance of a pure devotee. Yeah, so, and he says, so in then Srila Prabhupada says, if you do that, what's going to happen? I'm trying to scroll, but I don't have control of this page. Go to the bottom. He says the neophyte becomes enriched with the qualities of the pure devotee, which means he becomes attracted to the personality of Godhead's name and fame. And you become attracted because you're infected. Infection means to imbibe, to drink in the taste of pure devotion, always in the activities, meaning always engaged in Krishna consciousness. And this taste makes material things distasteful. In other words, we've heard every morning, prema bhakti, it radiates from him, prema bhakti yaha hoite, avidya vinashayate. He takes away my material impurity. The same thing is said here. Infection means you take in the taste of pure devotion, and this makes material things distasteful. Prema bhakti hoite avidya, not nescience. Therefore, so in this way, gradually these things are eliminated from our heart. After the elimination of these sins or obstacles on the path, one becomes attracted, one will have steadiness, one will have perfect taste, one can have transcendental feelings, emotions, and at last one will be situated on the plane of loving service to Krishna. And all of these stages develop by the association of the pure devotee. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to teach us. That in his association, we can learn what is Krishna consciousness. But to get that association, we have to become infected with his feelings. To get to know his feelings, we have to open our heart to him as a person. And then he shares himself with us. And so we try to cultivate a relationship with him. And we can do it beginning with our sadhana. I have that list. I have about 10 different little, what do we call them?
To-do list?
Modules or different ways in which to cultivate. Let me just grab the page.
Sure.
Okay. But the thing is, okay, people don't know what love is or how to turn it on, just like shifting gears. I drive a stick shift myself. You can change gears. Okay, we have our default program, okay? we always feel in a certain way. Maybe we walk around with a certain level of tension or anxiety. I have so many things to take care of, so many things to do. Or I'm concerned, well, what will happen tomorrow? Or I'm concerned. What? I'm concerned. Oh, the way they treated me last week, those people, they were so mean to me, or they hurt my feelings. So that's living in the past. and being concerned, well, will this work out the way I plan? Will it be a successor? That's living in the future. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, forget the past that sleeps and ne'er the future dream at all. But act in the present times that means living in the present moment.
Right.
Have you ever, you see online, there's a lot of different websites where people are teaching how to live in the present moment, but they don't know what to do with it. They're just, but actually, isn't it a surprise to hear that the acharyas are telling us that we have to learn to live in the present moment? Why? He says, what is that, 1854? He says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Prasanatma, Srila Prabhupada said, Prasanatma means joyful. Why? And I'm going to talk about that joyful. He says, what happens when we become joyful? Na sochati, no desiring, no kangshati, no lamentation. Well, what does desiring mean? It means living in the future. If I get this, I'll be happy. What does lamentation mean? Is about something in the past. The joyful, as soon as we become joyful, we're not concerned about the future or the past. We're in the present moment. And Krishna says that if you can live in the Mad Bhakti Labhate Param, then you can become a devotee. You can become a devotee because this thinking that satisfaction by adjusting the future, or satisfaction by thinking if only we had done things differently in the past, trying to adjust the past and the future, is living in the material world. That's what all we do. But there's no time, but that's material time.
Yes.
We're not part of material time, but our mind is like that. So he says, but if you can become joyful, why? What is this joyful? If you make an experiment and remember a joyful moment in your life and really try to relive that moment and feel it again like it's happening right now. And when you're feeling that, forget the situation and just feel the feeling of joyfulness in your heart. Do you know in Bhagavad Gita 17:17, this is what Krishna is advising? He says, he calls it mana prasada. Srila Prabhupada translates it in two ways, as satisfaction of the mind, satisfaction with the present moment. And he says, and he calls it serenity, to be totally serene. And Krishna says in 17:17 that if you can do this as an offering to Krishna, give up your concerns about the past and the future for 1 minute and just be serene. And Krishna says you can do that as an offering to me in 17:17. And he says that is the austerity of the mind that I'm prescribing for you. And that is the austerity of the mind. That austerity of the mind is in the mode of goodness. So this is Krishna consciousness. We have to, a Brahmin, mode of goodness. A Brahmin lives in the mode of goodness. A Brahminical person lives in a state of inner serenity satisfaction, and joyfulness. As a matter of fact, and peacefulness. Then all these things mean the same thing. That's 16. Serenity, simplicity, gravity. Where does the self-control come from?
Self-satisfied, being satisfied.
When we have that serenity in the heart, that is it's no challenge to be self-controlled. The people who are not satisfied, they have to look for it in 100 different places, in the future and the past. But as soon as we have internal, then we're automatically self-controlled. So what are the qualities of the Brahman in 1842 Bhagavad Gita? The first one is peacefulness. He's peaceful. Why? Because he has serenity, because he has satisfaction of the mind. And that's the first thing. And now he becomes automatically self-controlled because he has everything. He's full in the present moment. Now he can be austere. Why? Because he's satisfied. It's not hard for him to give up ABC. Now and then there's purity. Now he can be tolerant. Why? Does he practice these things out of some grim determination? No. It's easy for him because he's a Brahmin, because he's doing this this austerity, so-called austerity and the mode of goodness. And now it's easy to be honest. He becomes wise. He has knowledge. What is that knowledge? He knows, because what is that knowledge? He knows that I'm spirit soul. I'm not a material body. Has to serve, Godasa. He doesn't have to serve his senses because he has his satisfaction in his heart. And these are the qualities by which a Brahmin works. And then he goes to 1851. Go to 1851, Ramchandra Prabhu.
Yeah, here we go.
So 1851, he says, okay, now look at the first sentence after 18 in the purport. When one is purified by knowledge, he keeps himself in this mode of goodness, and in this way he becomes the controller of the mind. Is that what I was saying 2 minutes ago?
Yes.
Now go look at the verse again. Let's look at 51 to 53. Imagine that one is feeling satisfaction in the heart. So they're purified by their intelligence. They can control their mind. They have great determination because they're strong, because they're not trying to, I can't give in to this temptation. They don't have it, temptation, because their satisfaction within. They give up the objects of sense gratification because they're self-satisfied. They're freed from attachment and hatred because they're self-satisfied. Live in a secluded place. We're in secluded place. We're right here on this channel, Ramchandra. This is a secluded place. We're not in the bar and we're not at the football game. Who eats little? Okay. So when you're satisfied, you don't, quote unquote, I won't say, pig out. We don't overdo. We don't take more than we need. We control the body, always in a trance. And that's the trance that we're talking about. That they're inside themselves feeling this purring, like a cat is purring. But they're feeling satisfaction with it. And the false ego evaporates, and they don't have a sense of, I'm such a great person, and I have so pride, and I am not lusty, I'm not hankering for things, sense gratification, because I don't need it. I'm satisfied within. I'm not angry at anybody because I don't care what they think of me. Why I don't care? Because I'm satisfied in my heart. Let them do their thing. And who does, and don't not accept material thing means that I'm not thinking that if I get all my ducks in a row in this world, if I have this and this and this, that will give me satisfaction. No, they won't. I have my satisfaction. Such a person will become elevated to the next stage, and that is the next verse. The next stage is they become liberated to the Brahman platform. So Brahma Bhuta, you become one with the absolute, and prasanatma, they become joyful. They're joyful inside themselves, and they never have lamentation, and they're not free of all these extraneous desires, and now they're equally disposed. Why? They're not being shaken by success and failure, victory and defeat on the material platform, because they're happy within themselves. So they're disposed. They see everyone else in terms of how they see themselves.
Hmm.
Atmavan manyate jagat. You can look that up one time, not right now. Atmavan manyate jagat. Jagat is the universe, the world. Manyate, we think of the world in terms of the condition of our own heart, our own mind.
It's a very good point.
So therefore, he's equally disposed to every living entity when he gets on that platform. And in that state, he can start to be a devotee. In that state, he attains at that state. Okay, so one has to try to cultivate this mood and then approach Srila Prabhupada and try to please him the way we were describing. On this platform, you want to associate with God, you have to be on the same platform. you know what I just copied on my little pad here? Adi Leela, 158, Chaitanya Chart. Since one cannot visually experience the presence of the super soul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. Now, that's a really strong purport. Now you can relate to Srila Prabhupada that he's the external manifestation of the Lord in the heart. He's Krishna himself. All of our love goes to him. We can't go directly to Krishna, but if we love him, he'll share with us what is love of Krishna. So then, okay, so how do we what is the shortcut for getting on this stage? What is the shortcut of getting? You can make an experiment. If you remember the most joyful feeling you ever had in your life, anyone can do this. Even the most materialistic person can do this. Anyone can do this. A child can do this, and they do it all the time. An adult can do this. Remember the most joyful moment in your whole life and what made you feel that way, and live it like it's happening right now. And when you feel the joy, throw away the memory and just feel the joy. Anyone, and on this platform, immediately you'll see that thoughts of your to-do list don't matter. What happened yesterday doesn't matter, because you're satisfied in your heart. Now you're in the present moment just by feeling prasanatma, joyful, Brahmabhuta. Now anyone can be like that. It's a cultivation. I'm so warm, but I can't take off my shirt. I won't proper. So anyone can do that. And in that frame of mind, when you think of, the next point is as soon as you're feeling joyful, it's so easy to feel loving. Joyful means self-satisfied. But people can feel loving for a special reason, because they're hankering and lamenting.
Mm.
You can't be in the mode of passion or ignorance and be in the mode of goodness. We have to, we have to change our default program. We're not used to living on the joyful platform.
Yeah.
It's the mode of goodness. It's Brahminical life, and Krishna says if you can live like that, you can. Mad bhaktim labhate param. No sochati, no kankshati. But as soon as we're joyful, as soon as we tune into that capacity to be joyful, our hankering and lamenting evaporate. And Krishna says, if you do this, you can be loving. As soon as you have to experiment to have the experience. As soon as you tune in to this joyful feeling, sit alone when you're not listening to this fool who's talking so much. Sit alone for 2 minutes, 1 minute, and go and try and be joyful. It's not artificial. It's no more artificial than being sad or mad or upset or anxious. It's just another way. But Krishna says, choose this way. Practice this. This is your austerity. Austerity of mind that makes you capable of being a devotee. Be a Brahmin. Be Brahminical. Be in the mode of goodness. Be joyful. It's your duty. He says, okay. He says, so, and Krishna says, you can be this way and as a devotion, as a service to me in 1717. You can do it for me. If you're doing it for me, I like it. Yeah, Krishna is trying to encourage us in every way possible how to come forward. So, but you make this experiment that just soon as you tune into this joyful feeling, that you're hankering and lamenting, you're desiring, and you're thinking, oh, lament, it could have been this, it could have been that, or they treated me like this. It all goes away because you're satisfied in the present moment. So he said, as soon as you're joyful, think about love, and you'll find that it's so. Being happy and being loving, you can't separate them. They're the same thing. They're different facets of the same jewel of the heart in the mode of goodness. They're different. As soon as you're joyful or happy, so Srila Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Right.
No, he does over and over. He said, if you accept it by being happy, you can be loving. As soon as a happy person can be loving, an unhappy person has a hard time. A loving person will be happy, and a happy person will be loving. That you just like that. So now, in this frame of mind, before I approach the altar, you take a shower. Go into the bathroom and you take a shower. There's a different kind of shower. Before you approach Srila Prabhupada and you take a shower in your heart. In other words, you become joyful and happy and loving. And now you're clean. You're pure. You're on the spiritual platform. That is the spiritual platform. That opens up to the Brahmabhuta platform, the spiritual platform. You do it by doing it. You don't get it by buying it or getting it from somewhere else as a benediction, like we were reading in the other shloka, or a lecture by Srila. You do it by doing it. And in that frame of mind, you can embrace Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet to your heart. In that frame of mind, we immediately feel Srila Prabhupada's love and his presence. So anyone can do this. And anyone can do this. You could do it today, or you could do it in 50 years. Can wait 50 years. Can wait 50 lifetimes. Or you can do it right now. Srila Prabhupada says one can do it in 1 second. And it's simply a matter of understanding and accepting.
So one must come to the Brahminical platform to attempt this minimum.
And you know what the Brahminical platform is. It is very, Brahminical platform. Okay, we start with 4 regulative principles.
Yes.
But that's that. Because until we do that, we can't even understand these concepts.
Okay.
But the real essence of the mode of goodness is not what you eat. It's helpful. Well, the essence of the mode of goodness is to have a heart in the mode of goodness. Heart and mind are the same in the Vedas. To have our heart in the mode of goodness means to be the qualities of the Brahman, Samo, Damas, Tapa, Socham. Peaceful in the heart. Peaceful in the heart. To have peace in the heart doesn't mean that I'm going to act like a peaceful person. It means he feels that way. He's at peace. Everything's good. Everything's perfect. I have everything I need. All I need is to feel Srila Prabhupada's association. I need nothing more. He's peaceful. So this is Brahminical. So Krishna says, you practice this. Accept it as your austerity. Accept feeling like that is your big austerity. Giving up all your hankering and lamentations and anxieties, giving them up, that's your austerity. It's like such I have to give up my anxieties. I have to give up feeling my resentments towards the way they treated me. I have to give hankering for this or that, and being concerned about success or failure, being concerned if they respect me or dishonor me.
Yeah.
I have to give all these things up. Oh, that's so hard to give up. I love being resentful. I love being all in anxiety about success and failure. I love thinking about how they treated me in the past so I can hate them. So he says, your austerity is to give these things up and be happy in your heart. Mana prasada, satisfaction of the mind. Tranquil. What did he say? Tranquility? There was another word, not tranquility. Serenity.
Yes, serenity, yes.
Be serene. Serene in the heart. That's your austerity. This is the cultivation of the mode of goodness. And now the mind becomes controlled. It's not running like a dog to everything and sniffing everything.
Yes.
Why? Because it's satisfying. Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Krishna said, now if you do this, you can become a devotee. Why? Because you're not running after illusory things objects of affection. You can't have your cake and eat it. If you want to run after illusory objects of affection, Krishna says, you can't have me. I'm the real thing, object of your affection. So, but we can't direct our affection towards Krishna, towards Srila Prabhupada, until we get past all of these other illusory objects of affection and caring. How do we do it? How do we get rid of all that? Come to the Brahma-bhuta platform. Cultivate the mode of goodness. Cultivate mana prasada. Cultivate. Krishna says, this is your austerity. Cultivate it, and then you'll be able to do what is described in 51 to 53. And as it deepens and expands, you'll come to the Brahma-bhuta platform. You'll experience yourself as, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And become joyful. Your attachments and lamentations out the window evaporate. You'll automatically feel the same thing that you feel for yourself. You'll feel that towards every living being. Friends and enemies are the same. This guy is really in Maya. He's not knowing how to deal with others. He's not knowing how to deal with me. Only have compassion on him. Why? Because he can't hurt me. Because I have everything already. What do I have? I'm satisfied within my heart, and he's not. Therefore, I'm compassionate on him. Try to share with him a little Krishna consciousness, or even a smile to soften his heart. So, these things we're discussing, we'll discuss them more. How are we doing on time today?
I just want to share something, then we'll talk about the time.
Sure.
So this is a memory from Narayan Prabhu, and he was, he was in New Vrindavan at that time, and he comments, when Srila Prabhupada came to New Vrindavan, he came into a midset of a bunch of people who were essentially squabbling. Every time they squabbled, they'd run upstairs and make the case in front of Srila Prabhupada as though he was King Solomon. They kept running up and saying, he said that, he did that, and Prabhupada would patiently try to put out the fire. Prabhupada was pretty disgusted with all of that. However, I had a good relationship with Bhagavan at that time, and once we were hugging out of friendship, when Srila Prabhupada came down the stairs, he saw us. He said, yes, you should be in embracing mood, not fighting. From that, I understood that whatever we're fighting for is very minor compared to this common work we have together. Prabhupada made it so clear to us that perfect or imperfect, we need to work together and spread Krishna consciousness. He was very pleased to see us embracing, and I was very glad to please him in that way, as was Bhagavan. A very nice pastime. But,
can I make a comment on that?
Yes, Ishan Prabhu, go ahead.
The fighting business. I was on another program this morning. Some people in Mexico are giving a class, so I was invited. They were discussing the love and trust, a society based on the principles of love and trust. The explanation was given that Why are we here in the material world? Because we were envious of Krishna. We're envious of Krishna. We want to be Krishna. We would like to be the most important person. We would like to be the proprietor, the controller, and the enjoyer of all I survey. So the way that it manifests in the material world, that envy of Krishna becomes directed towards each other. That's the symptom. Krishna doesn't, if we want to envy Krishna, Krishna's not going to stand there and say, okay, be envious of me. He's going to say, okay, work it out amongst yourself. Go for it. Be envious. Especially if everyone wants to be Krishna, then their own competition, they're finding fault. They like it. They're also looking for happiness, but they're doing it in ways that are dysfunctional because it doesn't make us happy. It makes us more miserable. So again, when we feel satisfied in our heart, we come to the mode of goodness, and this desire to put others down goes away. Instead of finding fault and being critical and being at odds with each other, we want to embrace each other automatically. So that coming to this platform again is solving all of these problems.
Yes.
Until we come to that, now Krishna consciousness is divided all over the planet.
Yes.
So many different groups, this, that. So,
Yeah.
because, and so we can't have an international community of love and trust because we have not yet, as a family, we're Srila Prabhupada's children. We haven't come to this point of learning how to be on the Brahminical platform, which we become self-satisfied, peaceful, see the beauty in everyone, and trust everyone, anticipate the highest and best from everyone, love everyone, are compassionate on everyone. So it starts, it's an inside job. And this is the cover charge for getting in the door, so to speak, the door of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness assumes, the assumption is there, that we know that we are capable of being loving, of being joyful. And now, but we just don't know where to direct our love. As Srila Prabhupada, we read that part. We have this quality, we just don't know where. We have to have the experience that when we direct it towards Srila Prabhupada as Krishna's representative, that we'll feel joyful within our heart, and we'll want more of that. And all good, as we associate with the pure devotee in that way, submissively, his devotional qualities will become manifest in our heart. We'll become qualified to preach. We'll become qualified to live in harmony with each other. And we become qualified to be in harmony with each other. We become qualified to spread the Krishna consciousness. I remember when Narayan was with us, and he was asking, well, how are we going to spread this? How are we going to introduce this for the next 10,000 years? How are we going to, what is the solution? And at the time I didn't have answer, but this is the answer. when we grow spiritually in this way, then we'll be able to
infect others.
yeah, and relate to each other, and in love and trust, and work together. Srila Prabhupada said, this movement can only be destroyed from the inside, not from the outside.
Yes.
So we have to become qualified to make this movement strong. We are this movement, so the movement is as strong as we are strong.
Yes.
Spiritually.
Yes.
So like that.
Jai, Rupa, you
Could
want
we-
to say something? As you unmuted yourself.
Oh, what was it? I wanted to say, what is the easiest way to soften my heart? Because I feel like I'm not a very loving person, and I would like to have love for Krishna. And I feel like I do things just because I have to, not because I want to. Then I wanna have that love for Krishna in my heart.
So I'm asking you to consider that you make an experiment. It's,
Yes.
and it's like anybody can do this.
So you get a
Anyone can do
picture.
it. Of Srila Prabhupada that you really like, where he's looking at you in his most blissful way, that when he looks, it's like his bliss can fill the whole universe.
Okay.
And okay, so how do I say? Make this simple. This is not in the books. What I'm going to tell you is not Srila Prabhupada Bani. But the point is, if you're sick, you go to a doctor. It's not in the books, but you do what's necessary to get healthy, right?
Yes.
So not everything is in the books. A little common sense is required. So if your shoelace is untied, you tie it because so it's not.
Because you need to.
It's not because it's not in the books that you're going to, but you do. So we have to develop this very beautiful heart. So I'm going to give you something that's not in the books, but if you do it, it'll work.
Okay,
work for you.
Let me hear it.
Rupa, he explained it already.
No, let's explain it again.
Okay, go ahead.
You sit down or stand up or lie down, it doesn't matter. You remember the happiest moment you've ever experienced.
Oh,
that you can remember
yeah. Yes.
in your lifetime, either as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. Just remember that joyful feeling and relive the experience, the social situation, or whatever it was. Maybe you won the lottery.
It was in Kirtan.
Okay, so that's beautiful. So that's the best. So then relive that moment like you're living it now, as if you're living it in the present, and forget everything else and just feel that feeling. And then let go of the circumstance and just sit with that feeling in your body and mind, and know within yourself, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that you have the power to be like that whenever you choose. Happiness is a choice. I wrote it on my wall. Happiness is a choice. It has nothing to do with external arrangements. And as soon as we feel this way, it's like, just think the word love and you'll feel loving. Because love and happiness are the same thing. They're different. A happy person is loving and a loving person is happy. They're just different ways of looking at the same condition of the heart. You put yourself there and you do this for 1 minute a day. for a week or a month or whatever. If you want to do more, it's all right. But to do this, and it'll be so easy after so many days, that you can go there just by wanting to go there. You won't have to go through this whole process of remembering the joy. You'll know that it's a choice. I can be like that anytime I want. And this is the mode of goodness. This is a heart in the mode of goodness. Now, and so you'll notice that when you feel this loving feeling in your heart, we're at it, anything that comes to mind, your love will automatically flow towards that, whether it's the weather, whether it's the sunshine, whether it's somebody you know, whether it's anything. Because when you're loving, the love expands like that. That's we see the world in terms of the condition of our heart. Atmavan manyate jagat, Srila Prabhupada said. One sees the world in terms of the condition of their own heart. So as soon as if you're in that feeling, as soon as you think of Srila Prabhupada or Krishna, that feeling will automatically go to them.
And merge them.
It will embrace them. You'll enjoy that. You'll see, and even the chanting of the holy name when you're feeling that way, you can embrace the sound vibration to your heart. You say, "Oh, I'm with Krishna. He's present in this holy name," and you feel it. You feel it. The ability. That's why Krishna said that if you come to this point, that Bhaktya Mama Bichanati, now you can become a devotee from this platform. Does that make sense, my Prabhu? Does that make sense? Just play with it a little bit. Unless I die, I'll talk about it as long as you'll let me. It's not that you won't have more chance to hear about this sort of thing, because why do I talk? Because I'm cultivating it myself, and it's changing my life. I was out this afternoon raking sticks and twigs and grass off an empty lot near my house, and because I'm clearing it up. We have a project, who likes to do, and then loading them into a truck, taking them away, and having these twigs pricking into my chest and hurting my hands through my gloves. But I was chanting the whole time, not perfectly. I was forgetting sometimes and thinking about, I have to finish this job, but I could feel Srila Prabhupada's love. It turns, then these simple things turn into devotional service, karma yoga. Srila Prabhupada says, he mentions the housewife who has a lover. And while she's doing all the things in her house, she's thinking about her lover. And she has this real loving feeling in her heart. And everything she's doing is done with so much love. She's doing them to please her lover. Not that he's there, but she can't help it. Her activity turns into an expression of her love. So then that's when everything we do becomes devotional service from this platform. So, I'm hitting it from all different sides, but just start playing with getting this feeling into focus. This is a Brahminical platform of life. And you see, a Brahmin never collects more than necessary, and he gets charity maybe if people are like that in the old culture. And if he has more than he needs, by the end of the day, he's giving it away. He's never, why? He feels that Krishna is going to take care of me. Everything I need, everything I have, he's given me. He's not going to stop. So all of this comes into focus when we get into the mode of goodness like that.
Joy.
So don't mind to ask me anything you want, because there's nothing more wonderful for me to have the opportunity. I'll just be grateful to you, because you're helping me. You're helping me to be in the right place, to think of the right things. My foolish mind is not fixed in this way, that I'm giving you my best at the moment, but I'm fool number one. I'm distracted. I'm in anxiety. I'm pleased that certain things work out and displeased that certain things don't work out. Now I get annoyed with people. I get this,
Prabhu,
I get that.
Prabhu, everything you say, we relish.
Well, that's your kindness. I mean, and that's why I want to be with you, because you know what it says, we're, quoting the Bible, where two or more are gathered in this consciousness, I'm present. So we feel our Krishna consciousness becomes stronger as we share like this. You need me, I need you.
Yes.
It's not that I have something to give. I'm praying that I have somebody that I can give something to, because you're helping me to be Krishna conscious. That's called Sangha, association. And so we're associating in a nice way. And I'm really grateful, Prabhu. I can't tell you that I can't sell this anywhere else. I can't sell this anywhere else except on this particular Zoom site that we're on, that that you're willing to consider these things. I said, wow.
These things actually work. So for anyone who's watching, so I'm trying this, and it's very, very uplifting for my consciousness. So it's a testament.
And it's so simple. It's not hard. People say, I'm going to do Krishna consciousness. I'm going to clench my teeth. I'm going to keep these principles. I'm going to do my chant, my rounds. I'm going to do this. I'm going to read the books. But this is so simple. And it doesn't mean we don't do the other things, but this will make all the other things so enjoyable.
Right.
So enjoyable. So, yeah. No sochati, no kangshati, no hankering, no lamenting. Become happy in your heart. And then you'll feel nice towards everybody. And then you can be a devotee. Bhagavad Gita, 1854. Yeah, so do we?
So we're up just about time. So it's okay. Sometimes things, go this way. So it's a spontaneous meeting anyways. So we can continue our reading sometime this week. So I will try to coordinate for another session with Ishan Prabhu. And if we do have a session, I'll send the message out.
Yeah, because I want to take part.
Rupa, what did you say?
I said I want to take part.
Okay, sure. Yes, Ishan Prabhu.
How is Robert Barron and Vinayak Sharma? What are they thinking of all this?
Well, only they
It's
can
been
tell us.
enlightening.
Does it make sense?
Yes,
to
it
you?
does make sense.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes,
Hi.
Prabhu.
You're not just
It made a lot
talking.
of sense,
I'm
Prabhu.
hearing what you're saying.
And
Okay.
Robert?
And Vinayak Prabhu, you are making a comment, Prabhu? Vinayak, can you repeat?
Yeah, I was saying that it certainly makes sense about the association and everything, because we might read and might speculate on many things, but keeping in practice is very much essential.
Okay, Jai. Yes, yes. Vinayak came a little bit late, so he didn't hear the whole discussion. So he's
And,
just...
and how is Robert doing?
Was I audible, Prabhu?
You're audible, but it's not very clear. So,
Okay.
okay, Robert. Yeah, Ishan Prabhu, what did you ask? How's Robert doing?
Well, how does what we're discussing make sense? How does he feel about it all?
It's all about the feeling. Yeah. How does he feel? So,
It makes me feel happy.
Jai.
No, really. I really.
I like the part that you explained about duty and love. I like that part.
Hmm.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you.
Excellent. So we can conclude now. For our online viewers, we will continue sometime this week. I'll try to coordinate with Ishan Prabhu. And then if we do have a meeting, I will send out an email to Ishan Prabhu and the group, and they can join.
Just send us
No.
a WhatsApp when at the time that it's going to happen.
Okay. All right. Yes, Ishan Prabhu.
What was I thinking? How come? Oh,